Okay, so I have a few observations to make. It's the 31st, Halloween, uh, October 31st, 2014. We're 4 days away from the big general election for the House and Senate and many governors' races and a bunch of different things. And an observation that I'm making is that we've had a lot of Democratic candidates who have decided that they don't want to run on Obama's record or agenda or be with him in any way, and that comes from the fact that he has a really, really low popularity rating. And the low popularity rating, I mean, it's not really fair. It's typical of a 6-year president. Um, but if you really look at the facts and figures, and you look at the what's actually going on the ground in this country. It's ridiculous. Like Democrats should be willing to run as Democrats with this president as their role model. I mean, I've never in my life, and I mean, I've been around 30 plus years, so it's not it's not a huge thing, but I am a student of history, specifically political history, political science history. That's my thing. And what I've noticed is that I've seen lots of politicians come through. I've seen several presidents. I mean, I could claim Carter. But no, I mean, I remember almost the entirety of the Reagan presidency, George H.W. Bush, both terms of the Clinton administration, uh, um, the George W. Bush, both terms of that mess, and then this most recent one. And I've never seen a politician complete his campaign promises and follow through and has. I think maybe that's the source of his popularity, is the fact that he has gotten things done despite all the opposition that's out there. I mean, let's go through it. Over the year, I mean, since Harry Truman, FDR, maybe even Theodore Roosevelt, we've talked about nationwide health care, and we don't have that, but we have nationwide health insurance. We have this idea where we're going to try to contain costs by making sure everybody's insured and making it so it's affordable for people, and making it so the companies that make money off of it don't discriminate, because if they had the ability to discriminate, then anybody who had a health problem would never ever have health insurance, and so they would always pay full price. And then the people, I mean, it would be just, it's a scheme, it's bullshit. And so that's what ACA is. It's to try to clear us of the bullshit. Is it perfect? No, but I do know that 8 million people have health insurance now who didn't have it before, so that's important. um, but that, and he's scalded and, like, hated for it, and it kind of blows my mind. Um, let's just look at the economy. When he took over, we had rising unemployment, and it got up to 10%. He didn't take over with it at 10%, but we had all those economic conditions that created the 10% unemployment were already prevalent while he was, as he took his oath of office. He so now that unemployment rate is at 5.9%, and in a week it'll go down again. That's my prediction. I mean, I could be wrong, but it looks like that. The GDP numbers came out for the third quarter. We have been expanding at a 3.5% annual rate. Take that coupled with the 4.2% annual rate that we grew at in the second quarter, and ignore that cold first quarter where we lost a bunch of economic growth based on weather. Um, you have one of the great bullish American economies of all time. You look at the stock market, and the stock market, the Dow Jones has doubled, Nasdaq has tripled under this president. Gas prices, like, yeah, when he took over, there were a buck 80 something, but that's because nobody was buying oil because the economy was in a standstill. And now we have Um, we have a growing economy, and we have oil at $80 a barrel, and it's because of all the extra production that's being put online, policies of this president. Um, yeah, I mean, we have essentially one of the great centrist presidents of all time, and he's like this considered this great lefty, and sure, I mean, he he's focusing on green energy in his speeches, and there's a few policies and everything like that, but it's not like we've thrown oil to the wolves here. In fact, we've continued to exploit and further exploit North American options, and Canada is doing it as well. I mean, we're importing a very small, as in terms of percentage of our uh, amount of oil. We're importing less oil than we have in decades. We're producing more than we ever have. We're the second largest, I think, the second largest producer of crude oil. What? Really? United States of America. Policies of this president. Um, it goes on and on. Gay marriage is almost a real thing. And, like, the guy didn't show a lot of courage in the beginning because, well, I think probably because he's a black president, he just didn't want to. He didn't want to piss off certain constituencies, and I mean, it was expedient for him at one point to not support gay marriage, and I think that's why he wasn't doing it. Um, as soon as it became obvious that this was going to be a trend, that our generation was going to go ahead and grant civil rights to everybody, and that's what our generation is doing. Everybody gets them. I mean, thank you hippies for giving it to most, but we went ahead and went the extra mile and said everybody, all civil rights. So he's let this happen. Uh, he could have put up a fight, but saw how history would not be on his side, so he didn't. The guy ended two wars. Said he was going to end two wars. Ended two wars. Um, not only does he like, not only has he like completed his own, made true his own campaign promises, but he's like making true Republicans who ran against them their campaign promises. Okay, so Mitt Romney says, I'm going to reduce unemployment to 6% by the end of my first term. Barack Obama reduced unemployment in this country below 6% in the first 18 months after his reelection. He made Romney's campaign promise come true 2.5 years ahead of what Romney projected in his rosiest of rosy scenarios. Uh, Newt Gingrich talked about $2.50 gasoline. I don't know if I'm ever going to see that. I honestly don't. But I do know that the oil price has not only stabilized, but it's a lot lower than the rentier states of the Middle East would want. They want a higher oil price, but they can't control the oil price at this point because there's so much new production coming on from the Americas, and so they're having to compete in a global market. That's the way oil works, and they can't. And so they're going to have to make choices about how they govern democracy, hopefully. So I mean, and I mean, we have our problems. There's no doubt about it. ISIS is it's an issue, but it's not an issue that's been created by this president. It's a legacy. ISIS is an offshoot of Al Qaeda in Iraq. So whose fault is that? Saddam Hussein? No, George W. Bush. George W. Bush is the reason why Al Qaeda in Iraq ever existed, and he's the reason why ISIS exists. And this president is the guy who isn't making those enemies, isn't creating those problems. He's the guy who's solving those problems. So I guess my message is, and I don't know if this will ever see light of day. I guess I think I'm going to try to put it on the internet. But my message is that to the Democrats out there, the candidates and the people who are predisposed to voting for them, and actually to the independents and the undecideds out there, uh, take a look. Look at the facts. Look at what's really happened in the last 6 years. Think about how we had depression-like conditions, and then a guy breathed a little bit of hope into us and governed succinctly. God, I don't know if that's the right word. Whatever. He chose the right leaders and made the right decisions to get us to where we are today. And if you run away from that, you're running away from the truth in everything that we believe in. So, Democrats, run as Obama's buddy. Tout the economy. Yet, it doesn't feel great. You know what? It is great. Deal with it. Deal with the fact that we can be optimistic. Deal with the fact that we have a better society. Deal with the fact that we're stronger in the world and that people like us more. We have influence again. We're not just a warmongering nation. I mean, rejoice in the fact that you are a Democrat and that you have Barack Obama as your president. And if you do those things in the next 5 days, I guarantee that we'll keep the Senate. We'll win a lot of races that we're not supposed to win. We keep playing this. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a weirdo. I'm not that person over there. We keep playing that card. We don't start running on our own merits and the things that we do and the things that we should be proud of. If we don't do those things, we will lose, and we will lose all those things that he fought for and that this party has fought for and this country is about. We will lose those things. They will take them away from us on a electoral mandate. We can't have that. Get out there, vote, spread the message. Peace.